Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be playing as Denmark and we're going to be forming the Kalmar Union. So I think this was requested in a previous video, but yeah, I'm doing it now. So, Kalmar Union, okay, so I start this off by, I first go after like how do I say this? What used to be Norwegian colonies, right? So like the Faroe Islands, and then I'm going after like Iceland and Greenland because honestly these places are just ice. They're not really and also they're like easy territorial, easy pickings really, and also because free territory I guess makes me stronger. So I take over Faroe Islands and Greenland. I'm sorry, not Greenland. Iceland, easy enough, and I immediately move to Greenland. So while that's going on, let me just tell you guys. Kalmar Union. If for a little bit of like backstory, essentially, this is in like the 1400s, around no 14, 13, 15, 1500 something, around there. Basically all Scandinavia, right? So it was a union, like a aristocratic union between Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, and they were trying to counter like German influence. Hey, look, I went to Wikipedia, did a little bit of reading, okay, but they were trying to counter German influence to the Hanseatic League, yeah, that one. So that's there, right? So that's why this whole thing exists, and so we're forming that again. And so thing was, there's a little bit of territory from Germany that I need to take. And so what I did was I got both France and Austria to just gang up on Germany, but then I realized, fuck, they're gonna take over Germany just like that. I won't get land. And then I declared war on Austria, declared war on Germany, and then just attacked them both. Which, yeah, I attacked them both, and then, yeah, and I got all the land I needed to. So I got the provinces and just left, just like that. Made peace with both of them, and since, the war was still raging, both accepted the peace deals. Then afterwards, I just chilled in Iceland, and of course, I decided to finish the job in Iceland, and I realized like 40 turns had just gone by, just like that, pretty fast. And I decided to finish the job in Iceland and Greenland, and so I moved into troops. I raised new troops in like Nuuk. Yeah, that's the name of the capital of Greenland. Yes, that's the name of it, Nuuk. It's a I don't know. I mean, maybe it means something. I don't know. Anyways, we took over Greenland. Greenland was gone. But since this place is so damn vast and large, I had to like use the army tab to find out where my army was. So yeah, with that conquest out of the way, oh yeah, Germany's still getting destroyed, by the way. That's still going on. But with that conquest out of the way, I decided to turn my attention to Scandinavia because honestly, that's where the real fighting is going to take place. And so I need to take over almost all of Sweden, Norway, and Finland. So it wasn't going to be an easy task. So what I did was I decided to get Finland to attack Colombia. Now, why does that seem so random? Because it is. But that's because to get Finland sort of distracted. And then, see, the thing was, I could have made them attack a neighboring power. That's what I normally do. But what I realized is all the neighboring powers are stronger than Finland. If I got, say, Russia to attack them as a distraction, Russia would have completely stomped them. And then, anyways, Norway declares war on them. And so I'm like, okay, fine, I gotta get this quick. And then I start invading. And this one, it goes pretty well. I seize Helsinki in like 2 turns. And I'm basically on my way to seize all the territory I need. The Norwegians naval invade, just like the kind of cutting me off from the territory. But their naval invasion was pretty small, so it doesn't really do much. And then after a while, I start shifting troops around, and I realized the bottom has like 8,000, which I really should have moved earlier. But anyways, I continued the attack, and I decided to just attack all provinces and see if I could. And I basically took the rest, and then checked if I could like take. But no, even if I took all of Finland, like the rest few provinces, it wouldn't matter. So I decided to settle for this chunk of Finland, so like half of Finland. But now they were left at the mercy of Norway, because keep in mind Norway was still at war, and so Norway was still fighting them. And so I was like, okay, fine, maybe I can just attack Norway then. And I did, and it went well. It went pretty well. I started invading and I took most of their heartland. See, that's what I'm talking about, bro. But then I realized I fucked up because Norway, you see, Norway was invading Finland, right? They're putting all their troops there. Thing was, they reached the other side and then reached my other territory, and I realized I screwed up because I don't have, I didn't leave any troops there. So I took out like multiple loans just to get Sweden to attack Norway, which I could have got Russia to attack them, but I did not want to fight Russia in a later date if they took territory. So I got Sweden to do it instead. And then afterwards, I sent some troops. I left troops in Norway because I didn't want to repeat that. But Sweden did the job for me and returned the territory. And so afterwards, I waited for a few turns, but then I realized Norway has these islands in the north. Bro, like, what do they even do with them islands? Who knows? Anyways, yeah, Norway, we were still at war with Norway, right? And so I was like, okay, I think I need to... And then I was like, and I decided to send some troops up there, just a few, like 1,000. I knew that would be enough, and it was. And so Norway was dead. And then Sweden just annexes everything. But then, for me, the game doesn't let me do that. So, absolute dick move, bro. The game don't let me do that, alright? So, now I'm here, and Sweden has now basically grown in power. I still have to fight them eventually. But I have also gained territory, in especially Oslo, which is, well, actually the southern part of Norway, which is basically all that matters. And so, I've set to assimilating everything, and I realized even I didn't assimilate Greenland properly, but that went down. And then I started moving everyone into position in Norway, because, to prepare. Then I remembered that Finland still had quite a bit. And then I looked over the other side of the world, and I looked at Vietnam, but I noticed that Russia was at war with China. So that would be that comes important later, okay? Anyways, I start invading Norway because I'm like, okay, I have the upper hand in this thing. And I take over the rest of their entire territories, and this time the AI lets me annex it, no problemo. And so the assimilating takes place, yes, as usual. We can never stop. Anyways, that goes down, and I start lining troops on the border with Sweden. Now, I'm not trying to attack them just yet. I'm trying to wait a little bit. And then I remember that I still kind of have territory to take from the British. And so I started looking for ways to distract them because I can't really fight Britain head on. I don't want to. But so I get the US, I get Canada to attack them. And then I'm like, okay, fine, I'll get Portugal to attack them because Spain, Italy, and France, they were all at war. So then I was like, okay, fine, I can just now seize these islands. Gangsta style, just fucking steal that shit, right? And then I try to make a peace deal. Doesn't work. I go a couple of turns, I'm like, okay, Britain gonna get war weary, and then I try. Doesn't work. So I'm like, okay, fuck, let's get this even worse. And so I get Netherlands, France to declare war on Britain. Trying to make it as bad as possible. The British still say no. Because I guess, they are an island. They're not very war weary. I keep trying again and again, and finally it works. And so now I finally have that territory. I don't have to fight Britain. And then afterwards, I decide to get Sweden to attack Russia. Now, this is important. Look what I do here, okay? So, one, I line up troops on Sweden's border. So they're all there. And then what I do is, you know how I mentioned that Russia was at war with China? Well, the AI can't fight two front wars. And so Sweden basically starts succeeding. Very wildly succeeding, right? They're pushing it deep into Russia. Problem is, when the AI does that, they commit a lot of their forces. And so Sweden, I can't see their finances, but Sweden is most likely in debt right now. Or really low on cash. Because they're committing so many forces into and they're all stretched out in Russia, they have none at home, and that allows me to advance with impunity. And just like that, I basically just defeat Sweden. That's how I did it. And it goes very well this time because they obviously did not see it coming. I mean, this, I guess this is like a lesson to real life, really importance of having reserves. And by the way, Sweden did end up pulling through with reserves because they ended up using the 5,000 troops to push back, and that's when I was like, okay, fine, we need to cut the, we need to call this off. We need to call this off. Just take what we can get and then go. So yeah, and then Sweden made peace as expected, to be honest. But I left with a couple extra Swedish provinces, and I'd say there was pretty good trade. I mean, no, pretty good success. So I continue assimilating, but then Switzerland and Latvia randomly declare war on me. I don't know why. And then Germany randomly just declares war on me, right? So and then Estonia was also at war with me. I made peace with them, but Germany was basically just North Germany now, and yeah, they didn't even want to fight. And I remembered that Åland exists, and so I took over it, and yeah, I added that to my territories. And yeah, because of that, Luxembourg and Åland were in an alliance, but well, Åland's dead, so screw that. And meanwhile, I decided to finish off with the rest of Finnish territory, and they kind of nearly broke my lines, but not really, so I didn't care. That was easy. And so then I basically had yet another front line with Sweden in the north. This is this is the most confusing. I mean, look, if this was a real war, this would be the most confusing borders to fight with. You got this western border, you got the eastern front line, it's everywhere. Anyways, I decided to raise new armies, and because I realized I had a lot of empty space, and I remembered, good thing I did, that Copenhagen. I always forget this, but Copenhagen, you can in this game, you can move from Denmark to Sweden. Like Copenhagen connects to Sweden as a province. You can actually move infantry from there, and I forget that. But it's because when the Danish Empire, the Copenhagen seems to the a little bit too much to the right side of Denmark, right? Too much to the right. It should be a little bit more centered, but it's because the Danish Empire was a little bit bigger before, and so yeah, that's the thing. Because of that, in this game, you can actually move from Copenhagen to Sweden directly. You don't have to use water, which I keep forgetting, because it's it's almost like it's an island, right? I mean, yeah, it's not almost. It's like it's an island basically. So yeah, there's little. I mean, it's the game. It's the game. What can we do? All right. And I think Sweden. I don't know if I saw this correctly, but I think Sweden sent a naval force around or something like that. I don't know, but I don't think it ever did anything. And so I managed to reach all the way to the top and get all the territory, but the game just didn't let me. And so yeah, I had to stick with this. And so Sweden was ever more weakened. And yeah, okay, you know what? I'll save you guys the peace deal. But I invaded Sweden for the one and last time. Third time's the charm, guys. We can just finish it. And then I basically took over the rest of Sweden. So yeah, with that, I think after 2 more provinces, the game came to an end, and I annexed Sweden first, but then I formed the Kalmar Union. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Please like and subscribe. Bye bye.